Hey everybody, it's me, Jose Segura, your SMEEA president. Welcome to another episode of Fireside Chat with the President. All right, hey, I'm coming to you from actually Jimenez Elementary. I've been helping out one of our teachers this week with her launch. And so I've been in this classroom all week long and I thought, well, might as well record my video here since here I am. So let's get going. We got a lot in this video. We're going to talk about waivers. We're going to talk about wearing SMEEA blue. We're going to talk about site rep elections. Lots of new members on our campuses. Lots of questions about taking roll every day. There's a Labor Day picnic coming up, and I want you to update your personal information. So let's get started, right? So waivers. So all of you got the email from Mr. Ontiveros the other day. Been a lot of questions about waivers. I think his email was succinct, it was short, it was sweet, it was very specific, and in no uncertain terms it said that SMBSD will not be applying for waivers. So regardless of what you're hearing out there, I just want to make sure that we all understand that that's what's happening. There's criteria that districts can meet in order to be eligible to apply for a waiver. And by the way, just because you submit a waiver to your county doesn't mean it's going to be approved, right? So nothing's automatic in this process. But anyway, the county finally acquiesced and decided that they were going to accept waivers, but our district will not be submitting any, right? And just so you know, waivers, we're talking about waivers that allow students onto campuses for instruction and other things. And the reason why you need a waiver is because right now we're still on that hot list for the state that says that we can't have any in-person instruction on our campuses. We all have to be distance learning. And so the waiver allows you to bring students onto campus. But again, our district will not be applying for any waivers. All right, perfect. Next thing is SMEEA Blue. Thursdays. I know it's a little bit different. We're not all together anymore. We're not on the same side. We can't see each other, but we all got our SMEEA Blue gear. I really, really encourage you all to wear it on Thursdays, whether Thursday is a campus day for you or not. Take pictures of yourself, post them on social media, post them on our SMEEA social media, which the links are at the bottom of this, of the email that this video was attached to. And let's get our SMEEA Pride out there on Thursdays, taking pictures of you in your SMEEA Blue gear and then posting it up to our social media, all right? So let's keep doing that because I think that goes a long way in reminding us that we're all in this together and that we are definitely a support system for one another. Perfect, cool. Next thing is rep council elections. We still need a rep council, right? We still need to have our governance structure in place. And so what I've asked our reps from last year to do is to take this month and through the next to go ahead and hold site elections in order to determine who your site reps are going to be. Any member in good standing can be a site rep, and the number of reps depends on how many full-time employees or full-time equivalent members you have on your site. I'm sorry, not full-time, how many members you have on your site. So if you have 31 members on your site, you get 1 rep for every 10, so that would be 3 reps. If you had 35 members at your site, then your site would be eligible for 4 reps. And so to determine how many members are at your site, remember we're including teacher tutors, nurses, counselors, psychologists, speech pathologists, anybody who is going to base themselves out of your site this year can be included in the count for the number of site members, and that will determine how many reps you get. The reps from last year will be conducting the elections, and they'll be turning that information into me as soon as they have it. So if you're interested in being a site rep, it's going to be an interesting year. We'd love to have you on board. We'd love to see every site have their full capacity of site reps. So please, please, please join us. Or consider joining us if you can. Cool. Next thing's next. So that's site reps. Let's go on to lots of new members. Speaking of members, we have a lot of new members. Probably between 60 and 70 new folks on our campuses this year in all types of capacities. So if you see new faces, whether in a Zoom or when you're walking through campus on the days that are your days, say hi to new folks and welcome them to SMEEA. Encourage them to enroll in SMEEA, CTA, NEA and become full members so that they have access to all the privileges and benefits that go along with full membership. So like I said, we've got a bunch of new folks on campus, so please reach out to them, especially if they're in your grade level or your department. Make sure that they know that they are welcome and that we support them, and we want to make sure that they have everything they need in order to start this year off. I know we're all learning together, but for folks who are new, it not only is the beginning of their career, but it's the beginning of their career in this new social distancing learning world that we now live in. Okay, so next things next, daily roll. So I got a lot of questions about this. Some sites have been taking roll as early as last week. Others are just starting to take roll every day at their sites. There's been an email that's been floating around that admins at sites have been sending out to their members to send to the same exact email. They've just been copying it and sending it out to their members. But ultimately, the bottom line is this. How do we know who's here if we don't take roll? And taking roll is going to be a little bit different this year, so this is kind of something that the bugs need to be worked out of the system in order to make sure that it works properly. The district is still accountable for attendance, and the state has said to us, you're going to get your funding for this year based on last year's numbers, but they've also said, hey, we want to make sure that you're communicating and connecting with all your students. And those students who you're not connecting with, how are you trying to reach out to them? If they're not showing up for their Zooms, they're not showing up for the virtual classes, you can't get a hold, what are you doing to reach out to those folks, to those kids, to bring them back into the fold? And so taking roll is part of that. We also still have class size language that's in place. And so, we're really trying to work hard with the district to enforce class size language. We have several, when I say several, maybe 5 or 6 classes out there across our district that I know of right now that are outside of compliance when it comes to class size. And so the way our contract is written, we have these first couple of weeks of the school year to work on class sizes to get things back into alignment. And so that's something we're working on right now. But we don't know what your class sizes are until we know what your roles look like and what your attendance is and what your enrollment is. Now, class size language is not based on attendance, it's based on enrollment. So I get that, right? It's not about who shows up, it's about who's supposed to show up. But one of the ways the district can figure out who's supposed to show up is when we take roll. And if kids are repeatedly not showing up for roll calls in your morning meetings, then you're contacting your office folks and your site managers, letting them know, and then they're reaching out trying to figure out where those kids are, or they're helping you reach out to figure out where those kids are. And those kids may be gone, they may have moved on or done other things. And so as we learn that information, that changes our enrollment, right? Which is what we use to determine whether or not class size language is being followed. So the more you can do to help out, the better it's going to be for you and for your fellow teachers across the district and across your site. So I really want to thank you for that. Let's see, Labor Day picnic. So every year there's a big Labor Day picnic, and some of you go every year, some of you have never been. Well, I'm sure, as you can tell, there's not going to be a Labor Day picnic this year because, well, we can't put 700 people into a park and have a picnic. But the folks who organize this event every year, the Central Coast Labor Council, they're going to put together a drive-through Labor Day picnic. And so please be on the lookout. In the next few days, I'm going to be sending you all an announcement for the event. It's going to be a flyer. It's going to tell you all about the event. And I'm also going to send you a link to a Google form where you can RSVP for the event. And the reason why I want you to RSVP is because there's going to be food involved, right? So it's going to be a drive-through event. It's what they're planning. There'll be food, flyers, information, there'll be music. It'll be a drive-through process, but hopefully it'll be entertaining, it'll be educational, and there'll be food involved. And so we want to make sure that we have enough of everything for everyone who's coming. So you're going to look up for that first part of next week. It'll be an invitation to the event with information like times and dates and maps and locations, but it'll also include an RSVP link so that you can let us know how many are going to show up, right? This event is open to all folks who are involved in organized labor and non-organized labor throughout the Central Coast. It's also open to the public, and so it's a pretty good-sized local event that's been held every year for the last several years, and we're really hoping to get a lot of our members involved in this year, especially in this kind of a drive-through format that's going to happen. So be on the lookout for the invitation to that event coming to you next week. And last but not least is updates. So every year I ask that you all update your personal information in our MailChimp account. Now MailChimp is what we use when you subscribe to the email service where you receive this video and this email, right? So the only way you've got this is if you are a subscriber. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to the email this video is attached to. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. At the very bottom of the page, there's a button where you can update your preferences. Now your preferences are your personal information. So when you click on that, you can update if you have a change of address, if you change school sites, grade levels, if you have a new cell phone number. This is where you update all of that information. And it's really important that we have current information for you. So please scroll down to the bottom of the email, update your preferences, and make sure that you update all the information that's pertinent to you, especially if you've done things like change addresses, phone numbers, school sites, grade levels, subjects, that kind of thing, right? We really want to know where you are and make sure we have an accurate database of information for our members. But the second part of this is retirees. Now, we haven't done this before, but I had a lot of retirees who say, hey, Jose, please don't remove me from the SMEEA subscriber email because I like to know what's going on. I want to stay in touch. I want to stay informed about what's happening. Totally get that. Love that you folks want to do that. And I was trying to figure out a way to make that happen. So here's what I've done. What I want you to do is also scroll down to the bottom, go to update your subscriber information. When you go to things like your grade level on your school site, there's going to be a new option that says retiree. So I want you to change everything to retiree, like your grade level, your subject cluster, your school site, that kind of stuff. Change them all to retiree. There's also a box you can check that says I am a retiree. Now I'm going to use actually that checkbox to determine who my retirees are. So that, for example, if we use our mail service to have a vote, I'm going to exclude that group from the vote because you wouldn't be eligible to vote, right? But I want to make sure that all my members get a chance to vote. And I want to make sure that if you really want to know what's going on, you want to stay connected with SMEEA, here's your opportunity to do that. So if you're a current member, go down to the bottom, click on Update Preferences in order to update your personal information, including work site, things like that. If you're a retiree and you're getting these and you want to stay with this, go down to the bottom, click Update Preferences, and then change all the options to retiree, especially the box that says that you're a retiree. If you're a retiree and you don't do this within the next 2 weeks, then I will be removing you from the SMEEA subscriber mail list, okay? That's all I got today, and thanks everybody. I know this is the crazy week, the first week back to school. I've been doing these launch meetings all week long for one of our coworkers, and it's been quite the privilege for me to be able to sit in and help her out. Those of you who are doing your launches, I'm sure you're doing a fabulous job. I know it's a lot, but your parents, your students are all super, super appreciative of everything you do. So thank you for all your hard work. We'll talk to you later.